So, we've been carrying out percentage increases and decreases in parts 5, 6 and 7. And now it's time to start looking at how we recognise where someone has done a percentage increase or decrease and we want to reverse it. So, a t-shirt costs £15 in a sale. It has been reduced by 40%. What did it cost originally? So, let's have a think, shall we? If we were given a t-shirt and told to decrease the cost by 40%, what would we do? Well, we would take the original 100% and take 40% off, which would leave us on 60%. So we would then multiply by 0.6. Now, we don't know the number that we need to multiply by 0.6. But we do know the answer when we do that, which is that the t-shirt will cost £15. So my question to you is, how do I work this backwards and work out what the t-shirt was originally? Well, there's two things you might be thinking. Some of you will be thinking, add 40% on. So multiply by 1.4. That's a sensible answer to come up with. The other sensible answer is this. If you've multiplied by 0.6 to do the calculation, to reverse the calculation you need to do the inverse, which is divide by 0.6. So we now have two possibilities, and they may even be the same thing. So let's have a look. 15 multiplied by 1.4 gives me £21. 15 divided by 0.6 gives me £25. So first off, these are not the same. So the question is, which one is correct? Well, we can check that by checking the process. So, well done if you thought that we should times them both by 0.6 and see what happens. Remember to put your pound signs in, because this is money. That becomes £12.60. So straight away, we know that that is not the option. So timesing by 1.4 did not work. If we times 25 by 0.6, we do get to 15. So, to reverse our percentage, we do the opposite, which is to divide. We work out what has been done, and then we do the opposite, the inverse. So let's have a look at another one. Pause now if you want to copy. So, a house increases in value by 5%. It is now worth 210,000. What was it worth? So let's look at the things to look for in the sentences. We know it's an increase by 5%. Look at these two words and what they tell us. It now is this, it was, what was it? So it tells us that we know the answer to our sum, and that is the answer, and that we have to work it backwards. Now it was increased by 5%, so that means I end up with 105%. So when I count backwards 2 places, I get times by 1.05. So to reverse it, I divide by 1.05 and I find out the original amount is 200,000. Pound signs included. Now I'm using the calculator for these sums, but I'm just not showing it on the screen. So don't feel you have to do them in your head. Let's look at another situation that's linked to this and try and stretch out the idea. A house increases in value in 2009 by 10%, then decreases in 2010 by 15%. It is now worth, and that's in 2011, 180,000. What was it worth at the beginning of 2009? So, what I'm hoping you've noticed here is that we've had 2 percentages carried out. We've had an increase of 10% and then afterwards a decrease of 15%. And then we're told the answer is £180,000. So, an increase of 10%, that means I'm looking for 110%, which is 1.1. then a decrease of 15%. Well, that means I'm looking for 85%, which is 0.85. Now I need to reverse that process. Again, it's the words now and was. It's that tense there, past and present tense. So I'm going to divide by 0.85 and divide by 1.1. So 180,000 divided by 0.85, and I'll write that down just so I've got it. And I'll then press divide again straight away to keep the full answer, and divide it by 1.1, and I will get 192,513. And I can see there's a 3 after the here. I'm going to round to this nearest digit, to the nearest pound. The 3 means I don't have to round that 3 up. But I do have to write nearest pound on my answer. So, reversing a percentage is about reading the wording carefully and recognising that it wants you to work backwards in time. To do that, you have to work out what was done forwards in time, and then you have to reverse it by doing a divide. It's now worth you practicing this before we look at some other steps relating to percentage increase and decrease.